this is an excellent opportunity to make sure that we are providing that for all that will be required.
Yeah. But it takes, what we're kind of saying is it takes two parts now. It means that shall annually provide mandatory training. We're saying that we shall annually make available informational materials. So do you want to say that we shall make available informational materials and the administration may provide additional training or mandatory training or something like that?
You have something mandated by the state anyway.
The threat assessment team is mandated by the state.
Right.
This is above.
This is above the threat.
Okay.
We do have a threat assessment team. They are fully trained. This is above that.
Okay.
This is just saying that first,
Let me know what school resources or informational resources. Would that be all encompassing? Would that be better?
For annually making informational materials for school staff on the identification of mechanisms of student behavior that may indicate a threat to safety of the student. Those are things that we do provide in our effective training system. So it will be it should be a very simple thing to be able to provide for that potential identification of it. The difficulty is you're not always going to be right when you look to recognize something. So instead of providing a mandatory training, provide teachers with that opportunity to review and a better understanding of what causes that.
I was going to say too, if you want to keep the mandatory training, that we could do that, because then all we would do then is when those trainings happen in the faculty meetings with Dr. Naylor and Mr. Lorenz and the voting principals, we would just have them sign into the meeting, and then that way we have a record that they received it, and then if they miss that faculty meeting, then they would have to do a follow-up one-on-one to get that training. There's other faculty meetings that we hold that have mandatory trainings in, and we do a sign-in to be able to record keep who attends those. So if you want to keep the mandatory language, we can certainly do that, and then we'll develop procedures for record keeping.
I think that I don't want to tie the administration's hands, but I also think that it's a very important thing for staff to be aware of, so that any potential threat is identified and handled accordingly. And I don't want it just to be like something that's done in an in-service day that 25% of the staff might not show up to, and then they don't get to training. And I'm not saying that 25% of staff will show up to the service days. I'm just saying that it being done in a non-mandatory fashion, that some staff may miss. I just, is everybody everybody's getting it?
This is in place, then we need to make sure that everyone has it. And we will make
So,
sure.
because faculty meetings are generally like before school or after school. So if you're sick today, and you're a teacher, and that's the day we're holding the training, then we make it mandatory, which I'm fine doing. We just have to do a record keeping so that the next day when you come back to school, the principal or Dr. Naylor knows to pull you to give you the training.
I think from a threat assessment evaluation, it's good to know who's looking to do and have a record of that. If there's been deficiencies,
Yeah, we have systems.
Yeah, we do, yeah. Again, we do it for other mandatory training, so if that's the board's width, that's fine. We can do that forward. If that's the board's width.
What's the reason that you decided that we should recommend to change the language?
I think because now, even though we do the training in our faculty meetings, we still, when people come in, if they conflict, they're not sure, we provide them resources, materials. We talk them through the threat assessment process with them, share with them the safe to say. I guess it's just more formalizes what we already do, so, which is still okay.
How about we make it a compromise? Let's take the word mandatory out and say make available informational materials for school staff and provide training or something like that.
provide informational materials and provide training. Okay. And I will still work with building, admins and some issues like that.
Is everybody reviewing that or with the change?
Okay, policy 247, hazing. Adopt, our recommendation would be to adopt PSBA new language throughout. They've added terms like serious bodily injury, student activity or organization. So really just some language changes. They added one new statement. When a student's behavior indicates a threat to the safety of the student, other students, school employees, school facilities, community, or others, district staff shall report the student to the threat assessment team in accordance with applicable laws and or policy. So they added that, but I will tell you that's already part of our practice. We made the appropriate selections underneath the different delegations of responsibility. And also, Carrie, can you go to page 5? So this policy does allow for fines, and in our LASD policy, we had fines, but we did not have any dollar amounts designated. So we selected $50 for at the building level or district office level to fine, and then the board, if it would come before you under an expulsion or an additional disciplinary consequence, you could then impose another $150 fine. The previous policy did not allot for any different amounts, it just said you could fine. But when this came out from PSBA, they asked you to actually designate the amount. So this would be our recommendation, but it's certainly up to this committee if they want to change the dollar amounts.
Plus, when you say fine, sure, here you're putting a number to it so that it's kind of more steadfast.
Any thoughts on the fine amounts?
Maybe higher.
Serious offenses.
Yeah.
Into this.
We can make the fine whatever you like to do. This policy simply authorizes the principal to be able to do that. It doesn't require them to do it. And it provides what the board may impose on. So it still provides that legal with.
So your dollar amount could be exceeded?
Yeah, so you could, if you have
But
a
it's
higher
per-
amount, it just doesn't mean that it will automatically be.
Well, we would have to
Wait
uncheck
to
that.
will.
Yeah.
You will be fined, but not may be fined, you will be fined.
I mean, if the offense fits the criterion policy, then it's there, then it should be enforced.
I think that this gives flexibility. Each scenario may be different. So the principals of the board to have flexibility depending on the severity of the situation. But I
might be reading it different than you.
Because it's
Help me out, because when I read this, it sounds to me that we have to set the amount.
we can set the amount, we can set the top.
Set the
because
top.
that's what we're applying up to.
Okay,
And it's that we may fine them.
You could fine them less,
So
okay.
we could fine them less than that, or not fine them at all.
So let's take the first one then, for the building principal shall have the authority. If we don't want to do 50, what is the value amount that you would be able to go up to?
Did the solicitor give any indication, or I guess it's just a form of the VA? Did they say that there's like anything that we can go up to?
Is there any other districts around that, if this is a kind of Commonwealth-wide,
I'm not aware of any stuff.
And again, like I said, I mean, clearly no district wants it to happen, but I'm only aware of really only two really big pieces in the PA in the last few years. And I don't know that they have money starting to theirs. I don't want to say either way, but I don't know that they do.
So what if we, I hate to do it, I'd like to do this much more seriously as possible. I don't think there's no mindset of speeding type of thing or something like that. Like, what if the building principal goes up to like $200 and the delivery goes up to like $500?
I'll pay it 250, 500.
and then can that escalate up, so it's not like, wham, you're going to hit.
Right.
It's not necessary,
I don't know, I'm better.
yeah. But it's also still, excuse me, the criteria to be able to say, here's the published.
Yeah.
250, 500 sounds reasonable, I think. As long as we can show it's escalating up.
And the thing about what this, there could be various levels of severity that, I mean, and I mean, most likely, severe cases is going to carry this much. So, and can be, because it says the board can set up the additional fine. So if you do a superintendent like a waiver with him, you, can part of that settlement be an additional fine?
Because it still comes to the board.
Yeah, so 255 would be the limit. That's how we recoup some of those inflation costs from the first meeting. Anybody, is everyone okay with moving that forward with the adjustments? All right.
We will make those adjustments and have them ready for.
Is there any other business to be brought before the committee? Do you know anything? Judy? Steve? Aaron?
Just thank you for those who endured and stayed and went through the comp plan with us on the policy, so thank you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or adjourn.